In this video, we get to test out the brand new Flysky G11P. Super excited when this came out, and it's been on back order. It's been hard to get, but finally got my hands on it. We're going to take the Flysky G7P off of my Sakura D6 drift car, put the G11P on it, give it a full walkthrough, show you the features, show you how to set it up on a drift car, and everything, all in this video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Troy. This is Roadside RC. You'll tend to find me bashing or crawling or drifting or racing, plus doing product review videos and how-tos. Let's get started by getting this thing out of the box and seeing what's all included in it. Straight away, this is kind of cool. When you get into some of the higher end radios, folks do like to tend to have a carrying case for them, just because you've invested so much into them that you're afraid to break them. A lot of times those are $50 to $100 purchases that you have to make on the side. But check this out, Flysky literally with a handle, styrofoam carrying case that latches. Check that out. That's, I mean, if you're looking for radios, you got to compare and kind of consider the value that you're getting, even just with that. That's pretty awesome. Controller, which of course we're going to dig into here in just a minute. Looks amazing. The only other thing that's in this box right now, so we have receiver, we have the little aluminum handle for it, all the charging and other cables, and then a different grip there for a different hand size. Some different springs, a screen protector, which is awesome, and then, of course, a very useful quick start guide. First thing to note about the controller, it's set up for two 18650 cells, and I can leave you a link to them down below in the video description if you need a couple. But it can also run off of a standard 2S LiPo, whether you have a JST plug or just the balance plug. Either way, it works. I happen to have a couple 18650s laying around, so I put them in. Now, I've had a couple other controllers that ran on these, and honestly, it was a little bit of a pet peeve of mine, because I then had to keep another spare charger laying around specifically for them. And I didn't like that. But this controller is a little bit different. You pull this back cover off right here, you plug in the provided USB-C, and it'll actually charge either that 2S LiPo that you put in there or these 18650s via the USB. Very similar to kind of how the Flysky Noble is as well. You can put batteries in there and it's a battery backup itself, and it can be charged via USB. I really like this. It'll still work even if it's being charged. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten to a track with something like my Radiolink RC8X and realized once I got there that the battery wasn't charged. Right, and so then I'm sitting there for however long it takes. Fortunately, I have a charger with me. I can charge it, but I'm sitting there out of the game versus just plugging it in and keeping going. I really like this feature. Now, as we get to the controller itself, I want to say first off, as you look at it, the fit and finish of this controller really is a big step up versus a lot of the other controllers that you deal with in this same price range. You know, yes, it has a little faux carbon fibery things here. It's not real, but I like the touch. I like of it. But then, you know, Flysky's been around for a while now, and they've done a lot of studying and homework on what various folks want when it comes to features of a radio. The screen itself, which we'll get to here in a second, obviously big color screen, which is nice. But we have buttons galore over here. We have rollers, we have 3 position switches here on the thing. Then, very important for my crawler friends, momentary 3 position. So as you're crawling, you can hit your winch back, you can hit your winch forward, and unlike some other controllers, it is just a momentary switch, so you can bump winches forward and back. And I've had it on 3 position switches like this before, and you hit it one way and it just takes off, and then you have to kind of reposition your hand and bring it back. The bump right there, right on your thumb, is really nice. And then also you have other switches all the way around. You have some 3 positions rockers down here, and you have some other momentary bumps up and down here. You have some different knobs or push buttons that you have here. Lots of different choices when it comes to you're here and you want to control your 4-wheel steering. While you're steering your front tires, you can make this go one way and the other way for your rear steer. Oh, but you like to do it with your thumb instead. There it is, right? You have that ability. They've clocked them around the controller in the appropriate way. A couple extra additional buttons up here on the top, along with your power and your navigation, lanyard hook here in the rear, and then of course here in a little bit we'll get onto the additional hook that we can install here on the side, just because it looks cool. But I want to get into the controller itself. Failsafe is not set, so we'll have to do that here in a minute. But I want to go through with you a little bit some of the different menus and everything that's available here. So on the home screen, I can see my steering and throttle. I can see my throttle and steering trim as well, which is kind of nice. I have a big timer here in case I care for racing or something like that. From the factory menu, you just go down on this button. These are additional programmable items on here. So you can actually choose what sensor, what input you want, and you can even set if you want an alarm on it and all that kind of thing. From the main menu, if you push up one, you get to a look at all the different sensors in the controller. This is going to be good for us drifter guys, where we're going to be able to see what our gyro gain is set at. If you just tap that center button, then you're going to come in here to the main menu, and you've got, what is it, like 9, 10, 11 different things here that you can look at. I'm going to hit a couple highlights that we're going to go through here for ours. If you need to reverse channels, it's right there. If you need to set your endpoints on a certain channel, there you go. Sub trims there. Of course, they have curve set up, which will probably come in here. I do like to turn on like an exponential, but if you look in here, we have the choice of an exponential, but we also have the choice of an arc, or we can set individual points along the way. Pretty cool. A lot of times normal exponential is good enough for me. You can set up speeds of channels and ABS, some throttles, a cruise set. You know, you hit a button and you can set the cruise. Really pretty cool stuff. You got to set your auxiliary channel. So all these buttons are not preset to a certain channel on the receiver. So we need to come in here and say, all right, channel 3 is this, you know, this input, this button, and we'll have to do that whenever we try to get a which one of these we want to use. Maybe up here, maybe K5 VR1, what we want to use for our gyro gain. If you need to assign different functions, you can do that there. If you're a crawler guy, here's where you can set up your four-wheel steering very easily and control everything and understand how it works. If you want like a tank track mix, that's in there, different drive mixes, and then customizable programs, very cool. Timers for racing. If you have different sensors that you're going to set up, it looks like it comes with at least the one voltage sensor here in the package. For the vehicle setup, but it has opportunity for a lot of other speed and distance, altitude, things along those lines. You can always set those up. Models, it will take up to 40 models. So if you're looking for a one controller that'll do it all at a reasonable price, there you go. If you're wanting to bind your receivers or set up that fail-safe that we need to set, that's under there. A lot of this comes into just, again, fail-safe tips, different setups, and calibrations. The SVC is Flysky's name for its gyro. So if you remember, I have a different video about the INR4 receiver that has a built-in gyro. It's pretty dang good, actually. And in here, I don't have a receiver connected, so it won't let me play with it yet. But when I get the appropriate receiver connected in here, you will see this one has lots of different opportunities. And then if you're going to hand your controller off to a beginner, you have the ability of steering and throttle restrictions. So if I come in here and turn that on, then throttle restrictions is on, and you can actually control how much. Look at that, it cuts the throttle to half. Cuts the throttle to half, cuts the steering to half, and so that way you can limit maybe a novice as they try to use your vehicle. You can cut some power out of it, maybe to make it safer. Really pretty cool stuff here, all in this basic menu. And just check out that color screen. The last thing I meant to mention here, LEDs. Look, we have little blue LEDs here in the back. Oh, look at those LEDs in the front. They look too cool. If we come in on the system, underneath setup, it actually has here where you can program both your up, which is up here, and your down, which is down here, lights. So as an example, it can be blue and it can be different brightnesses. I don't know how much you're really going to see, besides just kill your battery life with these. As an example down here, you can control it to different colors, which is cool. There's a yellow, cyan, purple, dazzle, right? But you can also come up, there's a green, a red, battery indicator. So what this will do is, as long as the battery's in pretty decent shape, it'll show up as green. Whenever the battery gets into a low condition, battery for the controller gets into a low condition, it'll turn red. So you can make it actually useful. I kind of like that. Or you can just turn them off if you want to save your battery. But honestly, how do you turn that off? That looks so cool. Okay, while this gets charging, we're gonna go ahead and look at the receiver and getting it mounted up in the car. Controller's on, and I just powered on the ESC. As I did so, I kind of made sure the car didn't run away on me. First things that we'll notice, if I turn right, the wheels go left. If I turn left, the wheels go right. So obviously we're gonna need to reverse that channel. The ESC, of course, the ESC sees some signal. I don't know if it's truly the right signal, so anytime you put a new controller on, we're going to have to recalibrate the ESC to the controller. Not a problem. It's going to be different for every ESC. You have to follow the instructions for the ESC for that. What we've done here is just physically mounted the receiver. Channel 1 is from the servo signal out of the gyro. Channel 2 is to the receiver. Channel 3 is the gyro gain. And what we'll notice is so far we do not have any gyro, and that's because it's hooked to channel 3. But over here, if you remember right, we have to tell it what channel 3 is going to do. Ooh, and it still wants us to set up that failsafe. Let's go ahead and do that. No output with output. So I think I'm going to have it tell it no output. So what that means is that if it's failsafe, then what it receives, it doesn't receive any signal, which should shut everything down. So we will leave it as that, and then that's set up. All right, we're going to come in here. We needed to auxiliary channel 3 here. Okay, its name can be channel 3. Ooh, can I actually change? Oh, we can custom install, we can custom change the names. That's okay. But we can go into custom. Oh, look at that, it's a full freaking key. Oh, it's not a touchscreen, is it? Okay, and then we're going to come up here. I'm going to rename channel 3 as gyro. Am I going to regret this later? I don't know. Alright, control currently says none. Well, I got to fix that. So K switch TVR. Well, this is K5/VR. All the rest of these are, I think, more momentary. So I think we want this one. Type VR, and that is VR1. There's a VR2 down here, but we do want, yeah, there's VR1 and VR2. So I want it to be there on VR2. And now, when I do this, look, I'm getting a signal on channel 3 down there. That is awesome. Okay, and if I come out of here, and if I go up, I should be able to see channel 3 is about 50%. That is great. Oh, and I have signal on my gyro now. Look at that. Gyro is working because it sees a signal. So let's crank it on up a little bit, make sure we really test it. And then put the gyro at about 75% just for giggles. And gyro's working. Ha 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 ha. Steering is still reversed. So we need to come in here. Basic set, reverse, steering, reverse. Steering is now the correct directions. Yay! Go back up. You'll notice that channel 3, I can do both positive and negative. So the gyro is currently red. I don't remember if red is AVCS or which one it is. But if I go negative, which we can, gyro is currently green. Look at that. So gyro operation is the correct way. Steering operation is the correct way. But I still need to, not related, because we put a new controller on it, I still need to come in and recalibrate the ESC to the controller. And I need to reset the endpoints on my gyro before we go do anything else. Now this is specific again to your gyro, to your ESC, so I'm not going to show you those on camera. I have video tutorials. This is the GYD550 and this is the Furatech Slide Tech. I have videos on both of those elsewhere if you need them. Just as easy as that, new controller's fully set up and ready to go. I want to give it a little test drive here in the garage and see how it does. Honestly speaking, it feels great. I'm very happy with it. No questions asked. If you are looking for an all-around controller and you want something that's that little bit nicer, it's a pretty dang good choice. 40 models. I mean, you're never gonna run out. Like this is good for you basically forever. I am very impressed. I am very happy with it. But we have forgot some finishing touches now, haven't we? We need to get that in there. So the 2.5, it's a 2.5 millimeter driver. A whole little side plate comes off, and then I think this just literally sits right there in its place. And we can screw them back on. We're not going to have a lot of vibrations or anything here, so I don't think you need to worry about any kind of thread locker or anything. The little milled edges on that really look nice, really helps set it off. And the cool thing about it is they actually knew, of course, that you're going to be using this because it's in the box. So in that handy dandy carrying case that we saw earlier, it's actually cut out to allow for it. So you can put it on there and leave it. Isn't that awesome? You can buy this right now on A-Main Hobbies for $199.99. So it's $200. This is a $200 right here. And I took off that Flysky G11P from this car in order to put this controller on it. And that's about $100. So it's double the cost of that G7P. Is it worth it? Yes. Yes. So we'll answer that question very quickly. Yes. The G7P works. You can set it up. It drifts. It does basically everything you need for a basic rear-wheel drive RC drift car setup. A whole separate video on it if you want to see it. For $100, it's a pretty good controller. But the screen and the interface and everything with it is definitely dated. And for the extra $100, what this will do with the 40-channel memory, ability to do crawlers, ability to do all that stuff, kind of a no-brainer. Now the question that really comes is, okay, we've gone from 100 to 200. What's above this? Above this is the Flysky Noble. It's now at like $320 or something along those lines. It seems like that price keeps going up. I remember that thing used to be in the twos. It used to be in two something like 270, 280, 260. The fact that it's over 300 now, that's a lot. Is the Noble, which is now currently older than this controller, is it worth it compared to this one? No, 100% not. The only reason the Noble is the best controller out there for one thing: left-handed people. So if you need to see more about that, I have a whole separate video on the Noble and why it might be worth $300 to you, especially if you're left-handed. But otherwise, this new G11P from Flysky, it does 100%, if not 99, 98% of what the Noble does, and you save $100. When you consider what I would really put this thing up against, I'd put this thing up against a Furtaba like 4PM, which is $100 more. They're just shy of 300 and all that kind of stuff. I would label that as its peer, and it is that much more expensive. So the price of this thing, yes, it's more than that, like the G7P. Yes, you can get a Dumbo RC DDF 350, which works really well for really cheap. If you're willing to spend that a little bit extra money and you want it to look good, you want the little fancy carrying handle, you want the carrying case, you want the 40 model memory, you want all that kind of stuff, you want that color screen, this is really, really nice. If you're not willing to spend this much money, I'd be really urging you to look at that DDF 350, which I can leave a link to in the video description. I have a whole separate video of installing it and testing it and that kind of thing. I think next for this is potentially picking up another one of those INR4 receiver and gyro built-in 2-in-1 combos, getting it set up on the car and showing how to set it up with this G11P. Pretty straightforward though. Pretty straightforward. So if you have any questions about anything I did, questions about the controller that I didn't answer in this video, please leave them down in the comments below. If you want to see anything more related to any other drift tech stuff that I have done, there's going to be a playlist popping up over here to your right, and I hope to see you in one of those videos. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.